Hello and welcome to the video for SAM Projects 2013. This is the Word 2 project. We'll log into the SAM website, sign in with our student account, and download the files here. In the activity list, find Word 2 project. This project contains just one start file, no images, but it's a very interesting project. What we'll be doing, enable editing, what we'll be doing in this project is creating a research paper. And I think you'll find this to be a very useful project. So those are our instructions, and here's our start file. If we look at our start file, I'll click Enable Editing again. I can see that I have some text typed in here, but it doesn't look very much like a research paper. We're going to modify this, format this, and have this look like a research paper when we are done. Let me do a file save as real quick. We'll save this to my desktop and change the _1 to an _2. Your name _2 should be the name of the file when you're ready to edit it. Also make sure that your name appears in the footer, this file created specifically for, and your name should appear there at the bottom. Alright, so we're ready to do this project. This is an interesting project and I think you'll find it useful. Modify the document's normal style by changing it to Times New Roman, 12 point, double spacing, and no space after paragraphs. So the font in the home group we have styles, and in our styles we have some built-in styles for common things that you want to have, headers and so on. Normal is a style that you can have as a body of your text, and I'm going to right click. Now I'm right clicking this to pull up the pop-up menu, and I'm going to pick modify, and in this modify I get to choose what are the settings of this normal style, and I want it to be Times New Roman 12 point. So I can do Times New Roman, and if Times New Roman doesn't appear in your list, you can get it through the drop down, or you can type it in and it'll alphabetize it for you, make it easy to get to that. And 12 point. I also need it to be double spacing and no space after paragraphs. To get those, I'll come down to this format drop down for the paragraph, and I'll specify that I want it to be double spacing and no spacing after. So the after is 0, the line spacing is double. 12 point Times New Roman. Okay, so and that is now my new normal. And going back to our instructions, step 2 says to select all the text in the document and apply the normal style to it. So I want to select all the text in the document, which I can do by dragging and highlighting, or I can go under here and say in the home group, select all. And that's another way of selecting all the text. And then just clicking normal when the whole text is selected, and already my whole document is now changed to have this new normal style, Times New Roman 12 point, double space, no spacing after. Insert a header. So we want to have a header in our document, and here's the requirements for our header. We're going to do a blank header at the top of the page, right align the header, typed DESA, D-E-S-A-I, space, and then a plain page number header right there at the current position. Okay, so how do we do this? Now headers are up here at the top of our document in this white space. If I just double click in the white space up here, it will show me my, I'm in the header window. I can tell I'm in the header because I have the header and footer design tab, which is context sensitive. I also see the little dashed line with the header content there. Whatever I type now will not be part of the flow of the paper, but rather will be at the top of each page. And you have some other things on your header you can choose, so that different, even, odd, and so forth. You can play around with that a little if you want to. What it tells us to do is take this blank header, this blank paragraph, right align it. So in the home group we have right align, typed DESAI, and then type space and then a plain number, page number from the local settings. So insert, here we have page number, and in page number there are some pre-built ones that we don't want to use for the top and the bottom, and I want to use the current position where it's just the page number itself, and I want to use the plain version, and that's the most simple little header I can have there, DESAI space page 1, and if I go down to page 2 I'll see that on page 2 it's DESAI page 2. Very nice headers. Okay. To close this header I have a couple options. I can go in the design tab and say close header, or you can just double click in the body of your document and it will close it for you. Step 4. Center align the title paragraph comparing 3 Mars rovers, and then change the case to capitalize each word. So comparing 3 Mars rovers, center the text, and then up here in the font group select capitalize each word. So the 3 and rovers and everything is capitalized. Step 5. Select the body paragraphs starting with Mars is not easy and ending with NASA has engaged, and create a first line indent at the ½ inch mark. So I'm going to select this. Mars is not easy to reach all the way down through is that right? All the way down through, sorry, NASA has engaged. Yes, NASA has engaged. And I want to change the paragraph to be a first line indent at the ½ inch. And this then is done in the paragraph group, home tab, paragraph group, the edit dialog. I want to specify a first line indent of a ½ inch. Now I have another way I could have done that. I could have done that here in the tab. So if you have view ruler is selected, I could have also done the first line indent this way and just physically move that over to the 1/2 inch mark. It's the same effect both ways. Step 6, move the insertion point to the end of the sentence of recent missions, something, 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 soft landed, which I think is the end of the very first paragraph. Then press enter and begin a new line and then type the new body paragraph in the following text. Okay, so let's go back up here. Airbags and 1 soft landed, which is what we're ending here, 1 soft landed. Press the enter key, begin a new line, and then type in this body paragraph. So at the end of this paragraph, carriage return, and then type in the first lander, Sojourner, part of the Mars Pathfinder mission, and I get to type this in. Now rather than typing it in with you watching me, I'm going to go ahead and pause and type that in and come back to us. Usual. Okay, so we got that typed in. Oops, 10 times longer than scheduled. So make sure you've got that typed in correctly. It'll take off for spelling errors as well as grammatical errors and just not typing exactly what you want. So be careful with your typing and state active 10 times longer than scheduled. Okay, so I think I've got that typed in correctly. Italicize the name of the rover, but do not bold the text. So even though the text is bold in the instructions, that's just to highlight it for you typing. But I can go ahead and italicize and should italicize Sojourner. Step 7. Change the citations and bibliography style to be MLA 7th edition. Okay, so here's where we're getting pretty cool. Microsoft will support for you writing research papers. If you're writing a research paper, you want to take advantage of Microsoft Word's ability to help you with this. So the first thing you want to do is specify the style that you're going to be using. There's lots of different styles out there, Chicago and APA and others. And we're using, in this case, the MLA style 7th edition, which is our the most current MLA style. By selecting this style as MLA, it's going to do two things. It's going to prompt me for the fields that are appropriate for MLA style, and when I add my bibliography at the end of the research, at the end of my writing, it's going to format it in MLA format for me automatically. So it's a really cool thing. So we're choosing MLA style, and now we're working through our document. So here's a citation. It's a website chronology of Mars exploration with some information in the year, and we're going to put this website into our document after the phrase using airbag technology in the third body paragraph. Put the insertion point after airbag technology before the period, and then insert this citation. So let's do this. Third body paragraph is right here. Using airbag technology is right there where the cursor is blinking. After the word technology, before the period, I want to insert a citation, and here's how we do it. In the References tab, in the Insert Citation dropdown, we come down here and we say Add a New Source. And our dialog lets us choose book, book citation, journal article, whichever source we're using, it gives us the appropriate fields. Going back to our document, Figure 1, it's a website. So if you're looking at your instruction document, Figure 1 says a website. NASA is the author. Chronology of Mars exploration. The year accessed is 2015. The month accessed is August. Date accessed is 15. And the median is web. So that's the information from Figure 1, hopefully typed in correctly. Don't worry about the tag name. That can go around. That can change. I don't think that's graded or checked. It types that in automatically from you as you're doing the content there. Website, boom. Now, what's cool about this is now my document has using the airbag technology, and it has parentheses NASA close parentheses, and I didn't type that in. That's not flow text. That is smart text. It's text based on the sources there. And you can further change these because sometime in MLA format you want to include the page numbers or the author or some more information besides what's just inside that. And you can do that as part of what we're talking about on step number 9, edit the citation to add page number 1. So on my citation, if I click it, I can get this drop down arrow, and I click the drop down arrow, I can say edit citation, and you can choose to specify a specific page number that you're referencing, or to suppress the author or the year or the title or whatever we want to do there. So NASA 1. Very good. We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to add another reference after survived a complex soft landing in the 4th body paragraph, and the next citation is a journal citation shown in figure 2. So let's find that paragraph, survived a complex soft landing, and add this journal citation. Survived a complex soft landing is right here. In the next paragraph, and we insert a citation. So references group, insert citation in the citations bibliography group, add a new source. And this source from figure 2 in your instructions is a journal article. So I select journal article, and it changes the fields for what I'm looking for. And I want Gibson Sean, or Susan. The title is From Sojourner to Curiosity, A Brief History of Mars Spacecraft. Sojourner. I'm probably making typos here. I'm not trying to, but when I submit it for a grade, it'll tell me if I made a typo, and I'll know what to go back and check. Pages 277 to 293, and the median is print. So now in my document, I see that Gibson is in there in that smart text, that context text, contextual text, and I want to edit the citation to add 289. So select, drop-down list, edit citation, page 289 is being added. I'm not suppressing anything on this, I'm just adding the page number. Step 12, one more citation. This is the phrase in the 6th body paragraph, the rocks and soils formed. Move the insertion point before the period at the end of that sentence, and then do a book reference. So 6th body paragraph, 2 paragraphs down, the rocks and soils formed. Okay, so that would be right here. How the rocks and soils formed. And we're going to add a book source paragraph. So again, references tab, citations bibliography group, add a new source. In this case, figure 3, we're doing a book source. Jones-Tyson, the geology of Mars, a world of wonder. The year is 2014. The city is Boston. The publisher is Cengage Learning. And the median is print. And as before, we're going to edit the citation to be specific page numbers 46, 47. So I hover over, click, and then the drop-down list, say edit citation 46-47. Okay, good. So we've done a lot of, we've got 3 references in here. We're going to do some more. Now we're going to insert a footnote, it says, on step 14. Move the insertion point after the period of the sentence, NASA has engaged something, something, something with the rover missions, and then insert a footnote with specific text. Some rovers even have Twitter accounts to engage the public. So let's find that text with the rover missions, which I think is on the next, where is that with rover missions? Oh, there it is. NASA has engaged with rover missions. Now in this case it tells us to put the cursor after the period before we do the insert footnote. An insert footnote is in the references tab, but it's in the footnotes group, and there's a big insert footnote option as the main element here. And when I click on that, it takes me down to the footnote to type my text, and I go back up to the document where the cursor was. There's a little footnote with raised font there to highlight it for me. And the text for our footnote was, some rovers even have Twitter accounts to engage the public. Some rovers even have Twitter accounts to engage the public. Yes, I think that's typed in correctly. Now what we're going to do on step 15 is we're going to modify the footnote text style. So it's 12-point, double, and a first line hanging indent, and then apply the style to the footnote. So how do we change the footnote text style? Well, I'll notice in the home group here, we don't have footnote text style. That's not one of our options that we show in the list. But if I have the footnote selected, I can right-click and go to Style, and that takes me to the footnote text style. And then I can modify that footnote text style to be 12-point with a hanging indent of a 1/2 inch. Okay. Was there something else we were supposed to do? Making sure 12-point line spacing was double, and I can do line spacing double there, or I can do it in the format group either way. Paragraph, see, that's double. It's the same way of getting there. Okay, so now I've got the things selected that I want to have applied. And again, I'm doing this only for this document, which should be the default. I don't want to change footnotes for every document on my whole computer for how they do this. Now I want to make sure I click the apply, because right now what I've selected hasn't been applied, but by clicking apply, now the entire footer has 12-point double spacing and a first line indent of 1/2 inch. So good, we've done step 15. We're ready to do step 16. Select the 3 paragraphs, Sojourner and ending with curiosity, and create a bulleted list. So these 3 paragraphs, I'm going to select those and create a bulleted list, which we have done. And then I'm going to do step 17 here. Move the insertion point to the end of page 2 and insert a manual page break to create a new page 3. So my document ends on page 2 right now, and at the end of page 2 I've got this blank line, and I'm going to select the blank line, do insert page break, and that brings me down to page 3. Right? And then on this new page 3, make sure the normal style is applied, and then center align the paragraph, type works cited, press enter, and left align. So make sure that normal style is applied. Home, normal style is applied. Okay. So I want to center, type works cited, carriage return, and then left align. So we've done the activity there on step 18. On step 19, and this is pretty cool, I'm going to do very little work on my part, and I'm going to let Word do a lot of work right now. I'm going to use the insert bibliography command to insert my list of sources. So I've typed works cited, and I'm ready to type it in here, and all of that information is in my references. So in my references link here, in the citations, references tab, citations and bibliography group, there is a bibliography option with a drop down. If I click the drop down, it's got 3 big groupings, and then there's an insert bibliography option as the 4th item there, and it's that insert bibliography that I want to select. And boom, it creates for me all the information that I've typed in about all my sources as I've been writing my paper. They're all formatted in MLA format, and it looks great. Italics, format, the author's name, the year, everything's done in MLA format. This used to be very time consuming to get done correctly, and now Word does that for you automatically very nicely. Finally, step 20, check the spelling and grammar and correct any spelling errors. So under review, spelling and grammar, I see 1 spelling error for scientific. I changed that. And the monkey approves. There's nothing more on this document. I think that's what my instructions told me, to find at least 1 error. And it was. I'm ready to make sure my document looks like this document. I see the header, I see the centered title there, I see the Times New Roman 12-point double space font being applied everywhere, I see my bullets, I see my references, my footnote, everything looks like what my document is supposed to look like. So here's my document, and I can see that I've got all those things in it. Now, I probably still have some typos. I'm not expecting to get a perfect score on this submission, but let's see what we get. In fact, I submitted one earlier. I was trying earlier on this project and had some errors. Made me decide to give a good fresh start with it. Let's see where we've got. So I've got everything closed up, and I'm ready to submit my work. So I'm going to browse to my desktop. I'm going to submit, and we'll see how we do. So in our reports, I want Word 2, my second attempt. You didn't see my first attempt. I was doing that offline. See how my second attempt did here. Let's open this up and hope that we did decent. And look at that, 100 out of 100. Didn't even have any typos. So that is an interesting project using a very powerful feature of Word, the bibliography and references feature.